Tell me, darling, could we run away? We could hide away by the cactus desert blue. I can see it just a mile away from this crowded place. I could lay there next to you.
Welcome back to our channel, Best Freaking Friends Forever. Thank you guys again for tuning in and joining us. So today we're going to talk about The Breakfast Club. So it's another John Hughes movie. And before we give you the box office stats, we have a question. How did The Breakfast Club get its name, The Breakfast Club? So the box office stats are, it came out on February 15th of 1985. Its budget was $1 million. Opening weekend, it made $5 million, so which is $12 million with inflation today. It grossed in the U.S. $46 million, which is $113 million with inflation, and it grossed worldwide 52, which had the inflation of $128 million. So it was another movie that beat its budget.
Mm-hmm. Well, so, didn't have.
It had $1 million, so
yeah, it didn't have much to do.
I think that was one of the smaller budgets that we've had too
for a lot of these actors. But this is another Brat Pack movie, made by John Hughes, like Shelley said. It's I don't know. I sometimes I like these movies when it is just set in like a one set type of thing, and it's just people talking back and forth. I'm normally not like a big fan of those types of movies, but this one I thought was really good because we get to see. I would love for them to either redo The Breakfast Club, like revamp it, or do something very similar, because we do get to see inside the world of each kid.
And I think that's what I liked about it, because I feel like they evolve throughout the movie too. And like you do get to learn about their background as the movie goes on, like each one of them and why they are how they are.
Yeah. Well, and like Bender, just to see, like, he deserved an award for this because his acting was really phenomenal. Just to see him, like, he never, out of all the kids, he's the only one that did not shed a tear. And I think it's because of the home life he comes from, you can't show that. And so he's learned to adapt to that. And, you know, kind of like, why are you crying? That was always his attitude was, why are you crying? Like, just grow up, you know? Like I had to, can't you? Like, you're too soft. It's just the attitude that he portrays.
Yep. Yeah, Judd Nelson really did. And I guess doing the research, he actually stayed in character off camera. And he bullied Molly Ringwald. And John Hughes nearly fired him over it, because I guess it got to the point where it's just really bad. But Paul Gleason, which is Richard Vernon, which I think is the principal, defended Nelson, saying that this was he was a good actor, and that he was just trying to get into character. And I guess he did. He harassed her off camera too. So,
yeah. And you have to be a really good actor. It's like in the Breaking Bad, when Bryan Cranston, they did an interview with him one time, and he said, like, for him, he just had to leave that character in the chair. So, like, when he would get up out of the chair, you know, Bryan Cranston got up and left, but Walter White stayed behind. So, I mean, that has to take a lot to get up out of that chair and be you every day, and, you know, not carry over those traits from your character you're playing.
Well, and I feel like we've seen so many people fall down that road where they can't they take on these darker roles, and to take on the darker roles, they have to do things that put them in that mindset or that space. And I feel like it ends up hurting them. I mean, we look at, oh my gosh, Heath Ledger taking on the Joker and that deeper role and really what it did to him. And I mean, I feel like Judd Nelson's a very method actor. I feel like that's why he tried to keep in character. Christian Bale's very method.
Yeah. Just some people can't cope.
Well, Nick, he couldn't come out of it. Like, they can't go back and forth like Bryan Cranston did. And I feel like, I don't know, because you do see Judd Nelson in a lot of these not darker roles, but different, like, roles like this.
Yeah. I don't know. Like sometimes, like as I was watching it, it almost was like Emilio, who played Andrew. It was kind of like he wasn't there in a sense. Like I always got this, like sometimes got this feeling that he was, like you had like the good angel and the bad angel on your shoulder, and so Andrew always seemed to be that good angel. Because sometimes it was almost like he wasn't there, but only there for Bender. I don't know. Did you ever sense that?
No, I never thought of it that way. I never.
Because there was times where like he would say stuff, but it was almost like he wasn't even in the room, but only in the room for Bender. And sometimes I'm wondering if John Hughes almost wrote him that way. I don't know. It was just something I just kind of noticed every so often. Because it was he was constantly being his conscience. He was constantly telling him, stop, stop, stop. I mean, did you know, like you noticed that, right? Where he was
yeah.
Don't do that. Like whenever he went to go take the thing out of the door to keep the door from opening back up. And he kept telling him, don't do that, don't do it. I'm like, why are you so bothered by it? It's not like leave it alone. Like stop being so bothered by him.
I think how I took it was he didn't want to get in any more trouble than he was already in.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they thought that whatever he did was going to carry over to them too.
Right.
And that's how I took it. I just took it that he didn't want to get in any more trouble than what he was already in, and that what he did affected them too in the long run. And that's why he wanted him to stop.
Yeah. Well, and I think Bender we get to see, he has somewhat of compassion because when they are all roaming the halls and they're almost caught and he does a diversion so that they can get back. And I mean, that shows that he had some kind of compassion in him to, we don't see much out of him, but that is a moment where we get to see it.
Yep. Yeah, because he doesn't let his guard down a whole lot.
Mm-mm.
Like the other characters do. I mean, you slowly see all of their walls coming down and them opening up.
Mm-hmm. Well, like that scene where he, who was it? Is he the principal or is he the teacher? Vernon.
He's the principal.
Okay. So the scene where Mr. Vernon takes Bender into that closet, that was really intense for me. And I'm telling you right now, if I caught a teacher or a principal doing that to my kid and I found out about it, it would not be good. And clearly, Bender's parents didn't care. They probably would have encouraged that principal to do that. But that was I didn't like that scene.
No, well, there's a lot of scenes, like when he's underneath the table and he pretty much, like, Claire kind of, I mean, that was one where I think Molly Ringwald had issues with that later because it kind of implied assault in a way, or harassment, where he bites or touches Claire off screen and she kicks him, and I don't know.
Yeah, that was was not consensual. His behavior wasn't. She didn't consent to that.
No, and I guess Molly Ringwald herself has spoken out about this since the onset of the Me Too movement, which we won't get into that too much, but and how honestly or disturbed by all of it that she was, and particularly about the mixed messages this sends to her daughter and to the next generation. I mean, particularly since The Breakfast Club turned basically in a rite of passage movie for all teenagers of the later generations. I mean, it was kind of a coming of age for,
Yeah.
But even she was kind of like,
Yeah.
I mean, that scene kind of bothered me because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I just don't think that he grew up in a family where he wasn't taught boundaries.
Right.
So
you definitely tell that he doesn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not an excuse, but when you're a child, because these were children, like they're portraying children in this movie. I'm sorry, to me, I don't even think you're like full on adult until you're 25. And even then it's a little touch and go, but I mean, these are children we're talking about. So what was your favorite part, your favorite scene?
I liked the scene where they're all sitting around telling just their story, like why they're there, and just actually just listening to each other. And kind of, I feel like that's when they really start becoming friends. And then Brian asks, I mean, that was a big scene too, where Brian asks if we see each other in the hall on Monday, are you going to say hi to, like, are we going to say hi to each other? Or what's going to happen? And that started the whole fight between him and Claire, and her saying, no, probably not. Andrew and I come from a different part. We, you know, and Bender gets on her about that and you know, I don't know. I like that part where they all tell their story, why they're there. I think it's funny that Allison, she didn't do anything. She just wanted to be there. She didn't have anything better to do. And this whole time,
was she telling the truth though?
Well, who knows?
So she lied a lot.
She said she didn't do anything. She didn't have anything better to do on a Saturday. However, the claim is most likely untrue because Allison's a compulsive liar.
Right.
So
that's my thought.
So who knows what she really did?
It says
class to go shopping. We find out. Andrew, he taped the guys' butt cheeks together in the locker room. But I think it's good. He shows remorse for that. He said he wanted to be cool for his dad. And then Brian, he used the flare gun he took to commit suicide off in his locker. Oh, I didn't know it was a flare gun.
Yeah, well, he says, yeah, because in the circle he says he brought a gun, and then as they keep talking, he does say, because they're like, what kind of gun was it or something? He goes, well, it was a flare gun. He does say it.
Part, I guess, yeah. And then Bender pulled a false fire alarm. He's just, I don't know.
Well, he has 8 more Saturdays. He has to be there too.
Yeah. Which I think is another reason why Andrew just wants him to be quiet, because he doesn't want that too for them. He doesn't want to join him, and he's afraid that the fallback's going to come on all of them.
Yeah.
Because of how Bender is behaving.
Yeah, I'd say that's my favorite scene too. It's just them talking, and it says that all of that was ad-libbed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, John Hughes wanted it to be ad-libbed,
which is really cool. Like that they all kind of came up with their own little story on their own, which just goes to show that they kind of got in touch with their character.
Mm-hmm.
I keep saying like I don't like Emilio, but it must just be the Mighty Ducks movies. It must be something about them that I didn't really care for his acting in. Everything else I've seen him in after that I really like. I mean, he was an Outsiders. I really liked him in that. He's in this, and I really like him. So he is a good actor. Sorry for dogging on him earlier. I do appreciate his acting.
We need to do Young Guns.
Oh, okay. We can do those. Or that one. So this is very rare. This film was shot in sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And that normally doesn't happen in movies or TV shows.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, when she was talking about oh my gosh. I always forget. Claire. When Claire was talking about, no, I won't say hi to you. And he's like, well, if I walked up to you and said hello, she's like, well, I would be nice to your face, but I'd turn around and laugh. But she makes a really good point that she says, she's like, you would do the same. She's like, if I walked up to you in your crowd, you would be nice to my face. And when I walked away, you would make fun of me. And I think that that's real. Like we have these cliques, and, you do make, if you're, kind of the nerd crowd or, that sort of crowd, then, and if a popular kid walked up to you and then walked away, you would be like, oh, look at them. They are talking. I don't know. I could definitely see that. But I do like that circle that they have, and they talk and really show each other who they really are.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I like the dancing scene too, where they're dancing all together. Yeah. And I guess that was only supposed to be Claire, but Molly felt uncomfortable dancing alone, so John Hughes had the entire cast do it. And she said she regrets this because not only did she think her dancing was bad, her inability to do the dance solo led to the artifice of the MTV-type choreographed dancing, which she feels hurt the movie. So.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, when you see them becoming friends, I mean, Claire does Allison's makeup and makes her look totally, softer.
Well, what bothered me was why then was Andrew interested in her?
Exactly. Yeah.
Why did it take you to like pour hair back, put on a little lip gloss? Like, why is that what got you being like, oh, hello?
Well, it's like Bender and Claire too. I mean, he rags on her the whole movie, essentially, and then they are friends at the end.
I like the ending though, where he puts his fist in the air. Because
That was improvised.
I think it put a little, like that day helped put a little pep in his step. People can like me for me. Like, I don't have to be so rough and tough.
Yep. That probably did. I mean, if we probably look back on them, he probably did change. Now, did Claire and him probably stay together? Probably not. But he might have turned a corner there.
Oh, no. So John Hughes wrote this in 2 days. And get this, July 4th and July 5th. So on a holiday. All right. So earlier, Shelley asked you, how did the movie get its name? The Breakfast Club. The film's title comes from the nickname invented by students and staff for detention at New Tier High School, the school attended by the son of one of John Hughes' friends. Thus, those who were sent to detention were designated members of the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club. Have you ever been part of the Breakfast Club? Let us know. In my school, Shelley's school too, we didn't have Saturday detention. So, but let us know. I would love to know if other schools really do this. But let us know what you think of the movie, what you think of the Brat Pack movies in general. And until next time, I am Tiffany. This is my BFFF Shelley. Join us next time, friends, for another great episode.